We're going to go through some steps for the Hoffman 8100. First thing we have to do is verify that the tire that's coming off and going back on the wheel are the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at the size. The size should be formatted typically like a P. This tire is 195, 65 R15. The new tire that I made to install is a 195, 65 R15. So they're both the same size tires, which is good. Looks like this TPMS sensor has seen better days. It's got a little bit of dirt in there. It's one of the reasons we always put the dust cap back on. I'm going to start by taking off the wheel weights and releasing the air through the Schrader valve. So I'm going to pull the weights off. I never throw the weights away. There's one on the front. And one on the back. I always take a look at the weights. When they go to balance the tire, it should have the same style weight to go back on the tire. So if you keep these, you know what style weights to choose. There's lots of different choices for wheel weights. Next thing I'm going to do is let the air out of the tire. So I'm going to get my Schrader valve tool that always stays close to the tire machine. I'm going to release the air. Looks like I might be putting a Schrader valve in this tire because it feels like it's pretty much rotted up. So I'm going to pause the video. We're going to put this fire out and I'll resume here in a second. Quite a bit of corrosion within this TPMS sensor. Got an 11 millimeter socket. I'm going to try one more time to release the Schrader valve, but I don't think it's going to come out. This TPMS sensor needs to be serviced. Let's go ahead and disassemble it. We'll probably break the tire down and address the sensor at that particular point. So I had to get a deep well socket. This sensor has seen better days. Spinning internally. Gonna have to be replaced for sure. See if we can get it apart. Well, it looks like it's just spinning. Put you on pause again. Get the sensor out, and I'll be right back with you. Looks like I'm gonna have to try to release the air, break the tire down, and then deal with rebuilding the sensor. So I'm just gonna press down the Schrader valve, release the air, get the tire off the rim. All right, my TPMS sensor is right down here by my knee, away from this tool head. I don't want to damage it when I'm breaking the tire from the wheel. I have a button right here. I'm going to break the bead. And my TPMS sensor is right here. I can put it at 12 o'clock. If I need to do a little more, then we need to do it there. I don't want to put the TPMS sensor anywhere near my tire breaker tool head because they will destroy the TPMS sensor. All right, this one's in pretty bad shape. I can kind of hear it rattling around. I'm going to do the back side. Again, keeping in mind where my TPMS sensor is at. Again, my TPMS sensor is by my knee. It's furthest away, so it will not be damaged. TPMS sensors are expensive. TPMS sensor, it's at 6 o'clock, should be okay. TPMS sensor can be anywhere 12 o'clock down to 6 o'clock. All right, so now I get everything out of the way. I'm going to pick the tire up. I don't have to use my back to pick up the tire with the Hoffman Monty 100S. I'm going to pick it up, put it on my turntable. Too small. Going to get the right adapter. Right now, right, this particular cone is too small. So I'm going to get a little larger. Find the correct size right here. Pull it up, make sure that drops down. Press that down. And tighten it down. Again, when I work with any of these machines, I always pay attention to the warnings, and they're all over the place. Pinch points, there's the risk of explosions, wear safety glasses, keep your arms and your head away from the tire when you're adding air and setting the bead. So it's there, the safety rules are there for a reason. Pay attention to them. This TPMS sensor is still in the tire. I'm going to rotate the tire. I'm going to set this. I want this TPMS sensor on this side of the tool removal head. So we bring it in. I'm going to adjust with this adjusting knob right here. And so this particular is right here on the wheel. And then I'm going to lock it in place. And take this bar. My TPMS sensor is right in front of my removal head. I'm going to take this bar, put it in here. Up and over. Again, TPMS, I'm going to leave the bar right there. It's not hurting anything. Again, now it's my TPMS sensor. I'm going to put in the same spot that I did before. Right there, right in front. Same tool one more time. I'm going to put the tire down on an angle like that. A lot of times I'll go with the bottom bead, bottom part of the tire, and use this part of the pry bar. Through. Leave the pry bar in the same spot. tire is off. Got the TPMS sensor out. Just going to pretty much do a TPMS delete until I can find the right sensor. Putting in a regular conventional valve stem. Big source of leaks. So I always take some bead sealer. I just put a little bit. Because this stuff, man, ends up everywhere. Particular tool to install a valve stem. Of course, now I'm going to get it all over my fingers. Up. And then just use the tire to pry it through, and it pops in place. That valve stem shouldn't leak. Okay, there it is. Get rid of these cobwebs. Let's go ahead and install the new tire on the wheel. Let me pause you. There's an acronym they say to remember when you're mounting tires. All right, we should have looked at the first part of it already. It's called RIM. Read, inspect, mount. We read the tires, the sizes are the same. We inspect. All right, I'm going to inspect the wheel. The wheel doesn't look bent. And when you mount, you follow the safety instructions that are, you heed the safety warnings all over the place. So read, inspect, mount. Take your time, especially if a customer brings their own tires in for you. Sometimes tires are directional tires. Looking at this particular tire, I don't see any indication. There's typically indicated by an arrow. Looks like this tire could go on either way. There's no white lettering, anything on this wheel at all. So I'm going to lubricate the bead and put the first bead up over the wheel. I'm running low on tire juice. I ordered some from AutoZone along with the new applicator because that string can see better days as well. Don't be shy with the tire juice. More lubrication, the better. So I'm going to lubricate both sides real good. First bead's always the easiest. Again, when I'm installing a tire now, I'm going to act like this does have TPMS. I'm going to put the TPMS sensor by my belly button, even though the TPMS sensor has been removed. All right. So here's my valve stem, right by my belly button. Move you guys back a little bit. The first bead's always the easiest. You almost can put it on without the machine. I'm going to need a little mechanical help here. So I'm going to raise up. I'm going to unlock, raise it up, bring it in, and turn it a little bit just to get it in the right position. I'm going to drop this back down. Get it locked. Lock up the handle. 2 hands, making sure that I'm not going to pinch myself. And I'm going to go slow. That's the easy one. Again, I'm going to take the tire. I'm going to bring it back over here so the TPMS sensor is in right by my belly button. Now you can damage the tire. This top bead, taking it over the wheel, putting the bead down in position, is where you can ruin a tire real quick. So I'm going to go both hands on the side at 3 and 9 o'clock. I'm going to go about halfway. And then I'm going to stop. I'm going to push the bead down into the drop center with this tool right here. Okay. Once I get in the drop center, hands at 3 and 9, and I go slow, and I can readjust. Again. Tire is on. Get everything out of the way. And it's time to set the bead. We'll bring that over here. Put you on pause. I'm going to set the bead. The rule is you never go over 40 pounds. There's a valve up here. When I set the bead, I always make sure that the valve stem is out of the valve core. Hold on, let me find my valve stem tool. So here's my valve stem. I'm just going to remove the valve core or the Schrader valve from the valve stem. It makes it easier to set the bead. I keep this. These are matched. If I have dissimilar metals, it's going to cause oxidation. And just like when we started with that original valve core, it'll never come out. All right. So again, I never exceed 40 pounds when I'm setting the bead. I keep my head and my hands away from this area. So now I use my foot. Foot control is down here. 1 pop, 2 pops. That was nothing. That was super easy to set the bead on this tire. A lot of them aren't that easy. I'm going to reinstall the valve stem, and then I'm going to balance this tire. Let me put you back on pause. Putting these valve stems in, especially if you have a good TPMS sensor, don't over tighten them. Just freaking barely tight. That's all you need.